Hello and welcome to another video. So today we'll be taking a look at a Earthrune deck. We've covered one Earthrune deck so far and they don't really change too much as things go, but with a little bit of a meta shakeup, we may as well cover one again to kind of get on with it and look at what kind of decks are going to be floating around in the next few days or so. Especially with a couple of tournaments coming up, there's definitely going to be a big shift in what will be played, so it's nice to see something like Earthrune at least once before things take a huge shift. So let's get right into it and check it out. The first matchup we have is against Haven. No big surprise there, Haven does seem to be picking up a little bit. So starting off, we are going to want to aim for as many early Earth Sigils as we can, as well as any decent draw power. I also like to keep potentially Mysterian Founder, as you can see we got there, or the Golems, as they're pretty important. Golems in particular can be a little harder to draw since we are only running 2. Optimally, you'd probably run 3, unfortunately. Don't quite have 3, but 2 is usually still pretty comfortable. You're only usually pulling off 1 or 2 per game anyway. So I want Knight of Mysteria, guaranteed to pull another Founder, so if you can get 2 Founders set up, usually it's pretty easy to win the game by around turn 8. And it does make your Staff of Whirlwinds extremely effective. So Silent Laboratory getting us the Clay Golem. Couldn't ask for a much better turnout on the Golem. But of course, Black Inscripture, kind of ruining our fun. And there is our Golem, the exact thing we want. So, just kind of taking things slow, picking things off, and going where we can is kind of the early game aim. Our opponent's not really doing anything too crazy. It does look like they're running a Lion Haven variant, which is okay. It's reasonably cheap and still quite a solid deck. So our Mysterian Founder, good chance to get this out before they start playing anything too big. Prism Swing, best way to probably remove that. And then of course, Petra. With an Evo, not really a big problem. Should actually be pretty easy to deal with that with this extra Founder. And a chance to play our Earth Essence out. Really, we just need to get these Founders on the board. The probably most important card in the entire deck, boosting every other spell that we play. It's insanely good value. Zealot of Repose. That's one card that can be a little tricky. Fortunately, Staff of Whirlwinds does deal with it pretty well, and drawing a second one means using one would not be too bad. I did decide though to favour the Golem, just so I could kind of go for whatever I could off this. As if they do destroy the Golem, I can easily Staff of Whirlwinds, Golem, get all the value off that as well. And take full advantage of things like Ritual. So now Staff of Whirlwinds will wipe the board. We'll get a chance to use our Golem first, so I can try and get a little more value than just using the Ritual. And leaving them with just 4 health. Which, if they obviously can't heal or kill me next turn, we will win with Cagliostra, since, of course, her Enhance 8 with Evo will give us the spell that we need to deal 5 damage to face. Which will definitely allow us to take this game. And I suppose even if we didn't get that, we had a pretty decent chance at winning this. This was probably just the optimal way to handle it. So not a bad first game. Next up, we're up against a aggressive forest deck. At least that's what I'd make it out to be. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to tell, but considering that's the only real decent forest deck in the current meta, it's not a big surprise. Double Golem right off the top. Ugh, double Golem is nice, but it might be too much. So throwing one away, not going to hurt us. Verdict Discovery is actually quite a nice card. We can take pretty decent advantage of it, and we did end up with another Magic Founder. It does mean that we are in a very bricky situation. We don't have a lot of cards to play, and against a more aggressive deck, we're definitely on the back burner. But a Magic Missile, turning things around a little bit. Especially when we get a back-to-back missile. So next turn is looking a little more promising. Although that absolute swarm on the board is definitely going to hurt us. So magic missile again, so that's all 3 of our magic missiles. But that will be enough to at least take this whole board, knock it down to just a couple of water fairies, which aren't quite as threatening. I mean, if we had left all those up, we would have been in a much worse situation than we are now. At least with this chance, if we play Founder, kill off the 4/4, take a little bit of damage next turn, then Staff of Whirlwinds and wipe the board, it's going to be much harder for our opponent to make a recovery. Especially with a, say, Staff of Whirlwinds into Scrap Iron, which will protect us fairly well. So, double fairy play into Elfsmith. Not a bad way to go, especially since it does protect them from damage, but they're still going to lose everything next turn. So wiping an entire board for 1 card definitely feels good, and a couple damage to face is going to kick off our road to victory. Sylvan Justice, not a bad target. I mean, we don't really lose out from our opponent doing that. And now's probably our time to go for a Golem, especially since we did end up getting another Magic Founder. And the Witch Snap will help us even further, as we will be able to use that Earth Essence as well next turn if they clear this Golem, but I can't see our opponent really leaving up a 7/6 Golem at this point. That would really hurt their bottom line. Forest Defender, 6/7 ward. It's a fair trade. But we're basically going to have a complete board with this Founder, and we got another one. So I believe that is all 3 of our Founders, so any damage that we get after these is going to be pretty insane. Since we can go into a Magic Founder Verdict Ritual, which will be 6 damage, just from that one spell. Our opponent ended up just straight up conceding to us. No big surprise there when you have a hand like that and a board like that. So overall, a very solid deck and does a nice job. Takes a little bit to get used to. I've taken a little bit of time with it so far now, and it does definitely take a while to get completely used to, because it is a tricky one when it comes to making sure you line up all your plays perfectly and keeps you in line, of course. So hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Be sure to check the deck list in the description below. Until next time, see ya.